Okay, YouTubers, this is the final video. This is for educational purposes. I send warnings, not invitations. I apologize for how I say this. I do not apologize for what I say. So we are going to address the dichotomy of mixed race people. All right? For this and this alone, because there are pretendians on this app. That's for Dane Calloway and Ice Cube and every other fucking pretendian that's made it damn near impossible for Afro-Indigenous people to reconnect with their people. This is why we have to do this. Alright, I am what you call a triracial person. I am part native, I am part black, I am part white. I am part white, I am part black, I am part native. And before all this pretendian bullshit came along on the internet, none of this shit was ever a thing. There were white pretendians who were using Native Americans' benefits to get ahead in life. That's above my pay grade to try to explain to you. And FYI, Elizabeth Warren has 4% Native American DNA. So y'all can get off her fucking case now. Go Elizabeth. Anyway, hey, I was going to vote for her. But Biden won, so I voted for him. Now, moving away from that. A biracial person, which means they're Afro-Indigenous for this video's purposes, means they have a mom or a father who is fully indigenous and fully something else. If you have a full-blooded indigenous father and a black mom, you were Afro-Indigenous. If you have a full-blooded indigenous mom and a black dad, you were Afro-Indigenous. This would also go across the diaspora if you were Jewish and Native. If you have a Jewish dad and a Native mom, you're European Indigenous or biracial Native with white. All right? These are not outliers. These do happen. Natives did blend with European people, and that includes Jewish people. I have Jewish native girls that I follow on TikTok before COVID-19, and Lance just kind of was kicking everybody's ass, and these young ladies were right there with him, kicking everybody's ass. This is where the colonizer term came in. Shout out to Modern Warrior. So, now, you understand, you can be a person with an Asian parent and a native parent, a person with a black parent and a native parent, and a white parent with a native parent. Now, for you to be a full blood and be mixed at the same time, you can be part Navajo and part Lakota. But you can only be enrolled in one or the other. Okay? That goes for people who are double tribed. Alright? I have been told we got Cherokee, but I'm pretty sure, because my aunts probably got the shit wrong, but Charles City has Chickahominy. And that will be on my dad's side, where my mom's side is where we got the Cherokee. Alright? Now, how much Cherokee? Don't know. How much Chickahominy? Don't know. I also don't care because I'm not making a profit off of this shit, other than for my acting career, but I'm not connected to the tribe, so I can't really claim it. But by blood, I do have it. I am also afraid to go and try to re-enroll, or enroll rather, because of the Black Pretendians. Now, the Black Pretendians are way worse than the White Pretendians, because the White Pretendians, well, they did extremely stupid shit, but not extremely stupid shit to the part where it was detrimental to people who were part white and part native, or part Asian and part native. They kind of can get away with it, because a person who's part native and part white can stroll into a native place and people will accept them like that. Where a person like me who's triracial, or a person who's biracial, we now have to deal with the shit because the Black Indians or the pretendians who happen to be black have pretty much fucked it up for everybody who's Afro-Indigenous or triracial. So we can get this straight. I am triracial. Native, black, white. Alright? And I like to go in that order. But sometimes I'll go in this order. Black, native, white. White doesn't come before everything else. Because we know, looking at me, that I will never be white. It's just that simple. If you are offended by the word white, you literally have a problem. But anyway, I'm part native, I'm part black, I'm part white. I'm 51 years old. It's always been this way. There were never people off the internet running around hollering and coming up to us and saying that, hey, you're Siberian and we're the real Native Americans. Well, thanks to Ice Cube and Dane Calloway, that has become a problem. And then they rewrote history, and they even changed the folklore, where These motherfuckers in some of these lives on TikTok have literally said that white people arrived in America on Zeppelins. You know, the Goodyear blimp, a fucking Zeppelin. And they said that black people were always here and the natives came from Siberia. But it gets better. This will be the part that gets you the fun part. The American Indians and Native Americans aren't the same thing to them. But in reality, the American Indians and Native Americans are the same thing. They say they're the American Indians and they lived in houses while Native Americans lived in teepees. Now let's get to the part about me being triracial. My mom has 3 races. My dad has 2. It's possible that my dad has 3. I'm still working on that, and I will love to get in touch with somebody from the Chickahominy tribe to figure that shit out. Now, that being said, the fact of the matter is that as a triracial person, I didn't listen to my ancestors. I told you guys this before. That's why I go by Echo Fan Grey Wolf now instead of James Williams Jr. Because every time I went to a casting call, it was 1, you're short, and 2, we don't know what the fuck you are here. Alright? I don't speak Spanish, so I can't play a Mexican. But we can fake it until we make it, because a lot of Mexican people think that I'm Mexican. And as of this month and last month, 2 cops also think that I'm Mexican. And in my 20s, there was a Spanish teacher trying to teach me Spanish, and she literally said that, Jaime, I'd never met a Mexican who doesn't speak Spanish. And I had to inform her that I'm not a Mexican. And I don't speak Spanish. But Mexicans are also Native Americans. And I am part Native American, and part black, and part white. So I had to tell her she had to get some culture. But that was 20 years ago. My worst Native American experience was when 2 natives didn't want me to date their daughter and told me that I wasn't a pure native. But that was from natives. My worst white experience from white people was when the guy kept calling me chief, and my boss wouldn't tell him to stop, because the customer was always right. And I'm 16 until I'm 19, this dude's calling me chief. 3 years in a fucking row. Never stopped. He knew my work schedule every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For 3 years, this man called me fucking chief. And it pissed me the fuck off. So I don't like being called chief. I hate that shit. That's like one of my trigger words. If somebody calls me chief and they're too close, I might tag them. Or if they do the Tonto dance. But we're not going to give you my life story. This is the dichotomy of being mixed in understanding that a biracial person has one parent of this color, one parent of that color. I have a grandparent of this color and a grandparent of all colors, and then I have a black grandparent and another mixed grandparent. So my family is genetically fucked. We're totally mixed. Alright? So, to make it long story short, my mom's mom is half Cherokee and half black and raised black. At least that's what we know because she was adopted and raised black. So trying to track that down is going to be a stretch. And it's probably never going to be able to be continued. Anyway, moving away from her, my mom's dad was a quadroon or octoroon, which means one of his ancestors was black, but he was completely white passing. And if I can show you my mom without getting her pissed at me, she's completely white passing. And so are some of my siblings. Now, getting that out of the way, on my dad's side, my dad's mom was native, possibly native and black, but definitely part native. And her mom was definitely native, possibly native and white because she was very, very light skinned, but native in the face. So she definitely was native. Anyway, and I already revealed the tribe, so we're not going to go backwards on that. My father's father was black. So I cannot deny my blackness like the Afro-Indigenous people can't deny their blackness, but the Pretendians are phenotypically black. And they're trying to say that they have no black blood whatsoever. Like, at all. Now, I have never said that they don't have any native ancestry. Other people who are pushing back on them have never said that they don't have native ancestry. The problem is that they refuse to acknowledge their native ancestry, and thanks to people like Dan Calloway and Ice Cube, this has been perpetuated since COVID. It gets better. I got off topic. I'm back on topic now. Their folklore is giants, griffins, and dragons, and dinosaurs. I think, like, natives really don't have a lot of dragons in their folklore. At least I don't remember my great grandmother ever telling me about dragons. I do know about certain deities that I will not mention here. I can mention Bigfoot because they already stole that from me, so it doesn't fucking matter. And as of 2012 and 14, the conservation officers here in Virginia have spotted Bigfoot twice, and they got him on video, and they posted it on Facebook twice. So there's that. You can go look that shit up if you want. Anyway, they also said that it was not a hoax, and when they went to try to turn the vehicle around and got back, this motherfucker was gone. Like magic. Poof. Anyway, moving on. Back to the dichotomy. So, Native Americans had stone-tipped spears, arrows, and tomahawk. And somehow or another, they managed to beat all of the dragons, all of the griffins, and the dinosaurs. And somehow, even though the Black Indians had telekinetic powers and the Force, they lost and were put in chains next to African people who looked just like them. And I guess the dragons, the griffins, and the dinosaurs somehow or another ran through the Stargate down in Hopi territory in the Grand Canyon. You understand the clusterfuck that I'm talking about here. This is the shit that's going around the internet. That black people were always the American Indians and the Native Americans were Siberians who somehow or another magically beat your dragons, your griffins, your dinosaurs, and the white people got here on Zeppelins. And that America had electricity before Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity. The stories are so far-fetched, and so help me God, these pretendians could get a job on any TV show, and the shows would sell forever, as long as it's fantasy. And this is where we are now. I was starting my reconnecting journey before the Pretendians showed up. And when the Pretendians showed up, I got scared. And I decided that I wasn't going to continue my reconnecting journey. I also gave away the money that I was going to spend in Charles City to try to discover my roots. And now I'm broke. So there's that. And so I won't be going to Charles City anytime soon. I'm also not going to be doing cosplay. And I'm also working on a book. My third book. So I'll keep you guys posted when my second book drops and then when my first book drops. Because my second book is going to actually drop before my first book. I just have to pay for that shit. But anyway, I'm broke. And if you watch my video from Sunday night, depending on when you're watching this video, you'll know that the military only gives me $346.95 a month now. And that Trump's probably going to take that from me because that's my disability. And I've earned that money. I actually showed you the scar on my ass. Now, moving back to the topic. Somehow, these magically delicious Negroes and these magic delicious griffins, dragons, dinosaurs, and pterodactyls, and beautiful broads riding on the back of Kodiak grizzly bears got their asses kicked by Native Americans who have a bow with a stone-tipped arrow and a stone-tipped spear and a tomahawk, which is basically a fucking rock with a stick through it, but somehow they beat dragons and griffins and dinosaurs. Now, somebody got to tell me how the fuck that's even a possibility, but apparently that's what happened, and that's the history that the Black Indians are talking about. And when I say Black Indians, if you happen to be Afro-Indigenous or triracial like me, don't take that shit wrong. Just go watch a TikTok video. Better yet, go watch a Dan Calloway video. Better yet, just watch Facebook and Instagram, because they're all over the fucking internet. Now, before I end this video, I'm going to say this because this is very fucking important. They ain't doing this shit offline. See, apparently, Washington, D.C. has reparations on the table, so they've clearly gotten to the heads of Ice Cube and Dane Calloway, and these highly influenced black men have fucked everyone else over about getting reparations. So Ice Cube, he's good. He has money. He's a rapper and an actor. By the way, he also is a pretendian, and he never played a Native American in any of his motherfucking movies. Not one fucking time has he made a rap song about being a Native American. Not one fucking time has he done anything for missing and murdered indigenous people, which initially started off as MMIW, which would be missing and murdered indigenous women. Then it elevated to missing and murdered indigenous women and girls, and then it evolved again to missing and murdered indigenous girls, women and boys, or women, girls, and boys, and then it evolved again to missing and murdered indigenous women, girls, boys, and two-spirits. And then it evolved to missing and murdered indigenous people. Yeah. So that kind of solved all of that shit right there. He's also never talked about Red Hand Day, Red Shirt Day, Orange Shirt Day, Red Dress Day. And he hasn't donated anything to the Native American cause either. Now, I'm poor as dirt, and my career hasn't taken off like his, but I will be honoring my ancestors every chance I fucking get, providing that I get a job in the business that I want to do, which is acting. But he's already made it. He's already had great success in Triple X and Deadly Grounds, where he plays an African who seeks revenge on people from Africa who killed his family. And then he played James Desolation Williams in The Ghost of Mars, which was my favorite Ice Cube movie. And then my favorite Ice Cube song came from the Van Damme movie Street Fighter, with Raul Julia, God rest his soul, Let's Get Ready to Rumble as M. Bison. And not one goddamn time has Ice Cube ever rapped a rap song about being a Native American. And then this is how him and I, now no longer I, have love and respect for this motherfucker. He went on this Roland Martin talk show. It's all over the internet. You can find it, where he literally, one, sided with Trump, and two, decided that black people were the original Native Americans. I have no love for this man no more. I am in complete disdain. And I'm not going to say he doesn't have any Native in him. The same thing that I say to the Pretendians on TikTok, Instagram, and every other social media. I can't prove that you don't have Native in you. That's not my job, and I would never question your indigeneity. But for you to rewrite history and say all these things about griffins, dragons, and dinosaurs, not know one fucking thing about Native American folklore, and you call yourself an American Indian or a Native American, and trying to say that Native Americans lived in teepees while American Indians lived in houses, and y'all had all this magical utopian shit. And yet, somehow or another, my ancestors who were native crossed a land bridge with stone weapons attached to sticks and somehow disabled fucking dragon, fucking giants, griffins, Kodiak grizzlies, and pterodactyls and velociraptors and unicorns. I thought I'd add that for fun, because they didn't use the unicorns. But if they're using griffins, they might as well use a unicorn and an alicorn. An alicorn is basically the thing that happens when Pegasus has sex with a unicorn. And that means now you have a unicorn with a horn and wings. An alicorn. You should Google that. It's a fun fact. Anyway, apparently my native ancestors took bows and arrows to all those creatures, plus the giants. And it didn't even get any help from Sasquatch or other deities that I will not name, so that they can't steal them like they stole Sasquatch from me. And damn near every tribe has a Sasquatch story. But we're not going to go there, because there's probably a Pretendian following me here too. They're probably going to take that and run with it. So we're going to leave off all of the other native deities. And if you are a native watching, before you do anything else that involves native culture, please gatekeep that shit. Put that shit on private, friends only, subscribers only, whatever the hell you need to do, so that Pretendians don't get your information and infiltrate your tribe. Okay? Just want to put that out there before I end this video. Because the harmful truth is really quite simple. The more we give, the more they take. And the Pretendians have made it harder for Afro-Indigenous people and triracial people like me to reconnect because of the internet. And I can tell you right now, I am dreadfully scared to roll into Charles City and say that I'm part native and I want to check my ancestry, and can I do it here, and have one of those people who are full bloods or mixed with white tell me, nah, you fucking Pretendian, get the fuck out of Charles City. Now, but my ancestor's buried here. Now, she literally is buried here at Little Elm Church. I don't want to go through the fear of that, being told that I can't come see my great-grandmother, because I have never got to see her. She died when I was 10. I met her, and fun fact, she told me all the stories that you see in the very first Avatar movie. She literally told me about that shit when I was a kid. And the proof of the pudding is my ex-girlfriend and I, you know, the one that told me relationships are overrated, you can't come see me anymore. We went to the Avatar movie when it first came out. And I'm watching this movie, and you know how you're not sure if there's going to be a tear run down your face, but you get that feeling like your eyes puffy, and you're looking at the screen, and you're like, I remember this shit. Now, not like memory, but like I actually lived it memory. I was like, I remember this shit. This is a Native American folklore. I remember this shit because I used to sit at my grandma's knee with these little fucking refrigerator magnets that was like fruit, and she would tell me Native American folklore. And she would also tell me how her and her brother would run through the woods in their moccasins. And I remember that shit. And I started looking at this movie, and my girlfriend was like, what's wrong with you? I said, this stuff's Native American. And she's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Well, how do you know? Because I'm fucking part Native American. I know some of these stories that they were telling. Taming of the wild horse, all kinds of rites of passage. Everything was in that fucking thing was from Native American folklore and some Native American truths. Tree of life, connection, all kinds of shit. I'm like, I've seen these stories in my head when my great grandmother used to tell me about this shit and just let my imagination run. I didn't see it as alien people, but you know, it's something that never left me. It isn't all there. It's kind of hazy, but enough of it is there that I know, I remember, and I'm like, damn. And it was awesome. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm Echo Fan Gray with this is Coffee Happy number 2. If I'm lucky, you're watching this and it's Monday, but you should know that I filmed it on Sunday, and I finished at 12:50 a.m. March 17th. Oh shit. I think March 17th is the Eyes of March, or is that March 15th? I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm Echo Fan Gray Wolf. This is Coffee Happy number 2. Be seeing you.